All right, we are live. Welcome everybody to Hump Day Hangouts. This is episode number 480. Today is the 24th of January, 2024. Hopefully we are streaming on the correct channel. I think Bradley's going to be checking some stuff out in the background.
It
As
looks
usual,
like we are. It
hey, all
looks
right.
like we are.
Good news. Well, we're going to say hi to the guys. Got a couple of quick announcements. It looks like we got a ton of questions, so we'll be getting into that. Let me start off real quick with Chris. Chris, how you doing today?
Doing good, super busy. Again, like start of the year, so gotta start it right as usual. And yeah, like plow through it. I don't know, like if you didn't get a head start of so far, it's the time to actually build some momentum. That's what I would say.
Nice. Nice. Bradley, how about you? How you doing, man? You warming up?
Yeah, man, it's crazy because it was 66 degrees earlier today. It's 63 right now, but I'm back on top of the mountain because I came back on Monday night and the weather's supposed to be a lot warmer, but it's just stupid wet because like I mean there was 6 inches of snow still on the ground yesterday. Now it's all melted, but it's just such it's like a swamp up here. Even on top of the mountain, it's all wet and sloppy. So I'm gonna be still stuck in this fucking box for the next week because there's nothing else to do. So hey, at least I'll get some work done, as Chris just said. At least now there's nothing to do. It's a cold, nasty winter, so I'm just gonna work.
All right, and I was distracted because I am pulling something up. Oh wow, what did I just do?
Would you break?
Oh man, all sorts of stuff. Bradley, you were talking about vetted, and you wanted me to remind you about
Oh,
that, and
that's
I
right.
messed up the link. Do you mind telling people about that?
Yeah, if you guys go to Vetted, I Vetted's got a new owner. Vasco had been running that for, he started it. And some of you guys know who I'm talking about, but he's a really good guy. And so he actually like I wouldn't have been on any of these marketplaces. I'm only on Vetted because I'm not crazy about those types of marketplaces. So I didn't go on any of them, but Vasco kept bugging me to get on the Vetted way back when he did. And so finally on a Saturday, I was like, just to get him to stop bugging me, I did it. I got set up on Vetted, and I'm glad I did. It's been a nice additional source of revenue and more exposure for us, not just semantic links, but also semantic mastery. So it was good that he bugged me to do it. But anyway, he sold it, and there's got a new owner, and I got to meet with the new owner last week on Friday. And He's a good guy too. He's got a lot of plans for Vetted. And so, anyway, long story short, we agreed that we're going to continue pushing people, encouraging people to go to Vetted. So so Vetted is spelled with three T's, guys. It's vetted.com, but with three T's. Okay. So vetted.com. But he gave us a coupon code semantic. If you use semantic, it'll give you 5% off any service. It doesn't have to be my services on Vetted. And we don't get any kickback or anything for that. It was just specifically to help try to drive more people onto the platform. So you guys can go check it out, vetted with three T's, and use semantic as the coupon code, and you'll get 5% off.
But you should buy Bradley's link building service. So
Yeah, but where better to start trying services than mine,
there we go.
right? Thanks,
Uh,
Adam.
I'm going to
Checks in
use
the mail.
that. Yeah, use that as a not so subtle segue into talking about the directory hybrid agency training. So we do have the early notification survey. I posted the link in there, whether you're watching this live or the replay. You can find that. That's smshort.link/DHA survey. If you are interested in that or you want to be the first to know, please fill that out. It's just a couple of questions. We just want to make sure that it's either going to be a good fit or we can get back to you and tell you, hey, it's not. It's still going to require, an onboarding call, stuff like that. We're still working out all the kinks. And Bradley, do you want to give people a little update on that or just kind of tell people about it in case they don't know what it is? I know we have new viewers kind of, trickling in every week.
Yeah, sure. So the directory hybrid agency program is my kind of answer for uh, well, number of things. Number one is lack of people being able to get a lot of results in their local agencies or land a lot of clients. We have a lot of struggling members in our groups that want to do kind of run their own agency, but they're struggling a bit. And so it's my solution to help people start to scale their agency a lot better by first of all selecting a particular industry and becoming a boutique agency or a niche specific agency. That's the start, but then also building the marketing and sales machine to bring a steady stream of leads into your agency that then can be monetized any number of ways, which is why it's called a hybrid agency because it can be monetized via lead gen, lead generation, which can be done through rank and rent or pay per lead or revenue share. So there's a number of different ways you can monetize for lead gen. You can also offer traditional retainer-based services. We're developing all of the services too for this program. That is going to be delayed because we're still testing. We're trying to find the services that have the most uptake in the marketplace, that are, and various levels of services, front end services that are like starter services, and then kind of some more advanced services for more clients that are a little bit further along in their businesses and that kind of stuff. So we were hoping to launch this month, the whole program this month. It's not going to happen because we're still testing various offers in the marketplace, and developing the fulfillment side of that. But the marketing and sales machine component of this is done, and it has been, and it's been updated recently because a lot of changes in email. So we're going to be pulling that part of it together. So really, just so everybody understands, the DHA program, the full program, my intent is to be 6-month program. The first 3 months is to build the marketing and sales machine and learning the industry that you've selected. And then the second 3 months of that whole program is really where we just focus on marketing and sales so that you can get your monthly recurring revenue up to a certain level. Or, so far, our goal is to help our members get to a minimum of 30K per month in revenue. And so that's kind of what the goal is of this whole program. But the second half of that is still in development. So we're going to try to launch the DHA program beta light, or beta plus, I should say, because we had a beta group in our mastermind that's been helping me develop some of the final components of this. So I don't know if we're going to call it beta plus or what, or DHA light or something, but it's going to be the front end, which is the marketing and sales machine. And that's a 3-month process. It's going to take every bit of 3 months for you to develop your own niche specific agency, learn the market, and build the infrastructure to support a steady stream of leads into your agency. But guys, that is where most people fall flat in our industry, in the local SEO consultant and agency space, is most people are not keeping a steady stream of new leads coming into their business. And that is why there's a lot of people struggling. So that is one, like the tip of the spear, is to pick the industry and have your marketing and sales in place that generates a steady stream of new interest in what you have to offer. So we have that available, or that's coming available soon, very soon. We're starting to develop the launch plan for that. So you guys, anybody that's interested in that, get on the waiting list, because you will have a call with me, and we're going to have a discussion to see if it's a good fit, because there will be an investment for this, guys. There's a lot that goes into this, but it is something that's going to give you an edge in the marketplace that most others don't. And it's a sound strategy that I've been developing and fine tuning for the last 3 years. So it's I would encourage you guys to get on at least the waiting list if you think that it's something you're interested in.
Definitely. And before we jump into the questions, I just want to make one more quick announcement. If you are not subscribed yet to the channel, go over, click subscribe, and if you want to, enable the notifications. That way you'll get updated when Hump Day Hangout videos come out, as well as the little mini videos we create from Hump Day Hangout. So if you're watching us for the first time, that's a great way to stay in touch. We also offer some great stuff via email. You can head over to semanticmastery.com and stay up to date that way. If you're wondering how this all works, you can always go to semanticmastery.com/HDHO for Hump Day Hangouts. And that is where this will be, as in this Hump Day Hangout. And then at Wednesdays at 4 p.m., that redirects to the new one. If you want to ask a question ahead of time, you can go to semanticmastery.com/HD questions, pop it into a Google form, and we will answer it live. And we get it. You can't always make it here live. That's why we ask you to subscribe, stay up to date, and you can get your answers that way. So that said, guys, anything else before we jump into it?
Let's get
I
started.
don't think so. We got a ton of questions.
Cool.
So,
All right, let's do it.
all right, let me grab the screen. We got a lot of questions. There was 2 from last week that must have come in late, so I'm going to start with those. Figure out how to use Zoom. Okay, here we go. All right, so the first one's from Danny. It says, Danny, hey Bradley, a client is considering to make a whole new website since his old agency is not giving him ownership or editing permission. How would you advise going about this transition? What are the pros and cons of starting a new website on the same domain? Well, you pretty much have to. If you don't have access to the site for updates and all that kind of stuff, then you're shit out of luck. And in that, you're going to have to create a new website. So the idea there is go scrape the sitemap, and get all the URLs that are currently there, and make sure that you save those. And then when you go to build a new site, you can either duplicate the URL structure, or at least have the old URL so that you can set up redirects from the old URLs to the new ones. As long as he still has access to the domain, that's fine, because you can build a new site. What are the pros and cons? There's none. There are no cons at all. I mean, seriously, because if the old site you don't have access to, there's nothing that you can do with it. So just do it. I mean, you have to. There's no, but there are no cons to it, other than once you build the new site, setting up redirects from old page URLs to new ones. If there were any pages that were performing really well, setting up redirects, and if the URLs change, then you set up a redirect. There's a little bit of link loss or equity loss from a redirect. But most likely, as long as the site is structured well and the content is similarly optimized, it should perform equally as well as it did previously. And perhaps you're going to build the site with better structure, better optimization, so it might perform even better. So I really don't think there's any cons at all, because you really have no other choice, right? So it's that simple. Just go scrape the existing sitemap, save the URLs into a CSV file, and then just make sure that you're recreating any pages that had any sort, or redirecting URLs that had any link equity with relevant, valuable links. Remember, if they're shitty, spammy links that are pointing to a page, you can just ignore those. But anything that's got any relevant, decent links, then I would make sure that you either recreate the page on the same type of URL, or at least set up a redirect to whatever the new page is. That's clear. Good question. Next one is also, do you recommend getting accredited? Recommend clients getting accredited on Better Business Bureau? Have you seen any ROI for this? Not really, other than for, in some industries where, it's higher ticket, like home services and things like that, where they got to spend a lot of money, and things like, having a better business profile with an A+ rating and that kind of stuff just makes them, the customers, right? The consumer that's hiring the company, feel warm and fuzzy. You know what I mean? That's all that's for. I haven't really seen much of an ROI from that, other than it can help with conversions. In some industries, in some cases, it's not really important at all, but, and certainly in home services industries like roofing and, things like that, it's, or remodeling services and stuff like that, that I think it makes sense to do so. Hopefully that's clear. Also, it is kind of it's a very powerful link to join the Better Business Bureau for a geographic link. So in other words, a link that is good for maps ranking. Those are very, very good too. Getting Better Business Bureau registered with the Better Business Bureau. It's a strong link for the map too. So, I mean, again, I don't know if I say it's worth it because it's kind of inexpensive. And, as long as you don't have a client that gets a bunch of shitty reviews, why not? Why not have them do it? Right. Peter says, how many links do you recommend to build per month for a local service area type of business? There's no way I can give you that answer, Peter. I'm not trying to be a jerk, but I do every single project on a search query basis. You go analyze the top ranked competitors, look at their backlink profile. I teach this in the mastermind. I've showed, there's even a video on our YouTube channel. I've said this before, but I'll go ahead and say it again. If you go to Semantic Mastery YouTube channel, so youtube.com/semantic mastery, click the channel search feature and search for competitive link analysis. I think it is competitive link analysis. Right there, that video right there. Again, just go to YouTube, go to our channel, click the channel search feature, competitive link analysis for local SEO. And you can watch that. It's an hour and 8-minute long video, but I go teach you exactly how I analyze to answer that question, which is done on a search query by search query basis. You have to average out the data of the top ranked competitors for whatever search queries you want to rank for, and then look at the data. And that's how you make decisions based upon how many links, what types of links, the relevance of the links, all of that kind of stuff. So when it comes down to on a monthly basis, again, there's no way I can answer that without first analyzing the project and determining what the data tells me. Okay. That's going to give you your anchor text ratios, all of that, right? But then that still doesn't tell you the speed or the velocity, right, that you should be receiving links. And there, in my opinion, in a lot of local projects, you don't need to endlessly build links either, right? You identify what the competitors are doing. You try to meet and exceed what the competitors are doing with better, more relevant links. And then once you've achieved kind of the desired level, you can either reduce the the link building down to like lower the velocity, or kind of suspend it altogether on a monthly basis, and then once every month, or once every other month, or every 6 weeks, or whatever it takes, go in and you still add a few links here and there, if that makes sense, so that you never really kill it, but you maintain it at a lower level because it's not necessary if you've already achieved the desired level of results, if that's clear. But again, I'm just going to point out, guys, if we click into this, let me pause it. I think a couple of weeks ago I was looking for this video, and I was like, I could have sworn I linked to the workbook that which is an Excel file, which is the same file that I use to I teach you in the video. That's this file you're looking at here. If we go through it a little bit further, you'll see the data right here. Here's an example. This is what the Excel file looks like. And a couple of weeks ago, I was talking about this video on a Hump Hangout. I was like, I could have sworn I linked to it and I can't find it. Yeah, it's because it was I specifically put it behind an opt-in and I couldn't find it 2 weeks ago or whatever it was when I was talking about this, but there it is. The link workbook in here is the template is behind this opt-in, but then because I couldn't find it the last couple of weeks ago, I went ahead and pinned it here as a pinned comment as well. So if you click on that, guys, you're going to want to download that and then actually open it up as an Excel file. And I teach you in this video how to use SEO tools for Excel, which is it's an add-on or a plugin for Excel. And then you have to have a paid Majestic account, but you can use the Majestic Lite account, which is $49 a month. And then SEO tools for Excel integrates with Majestic, and you can do all of your data analysis right inside Excel. And that's how my team and I do it, because it's so much more efficient this way. But that's what I recommend. And so as far as how many numbers on a month or links on a monthly basis, again, couldn't tell you that, because I would first have to analyze the data to determine what types of links are needed, what the topical categories are, the average number of links, the anchor text ratios, all of that. And then I would develop a plan based upon that. And it wouldn't be a set quantity of links per month, ever. And don't ever do any link building plans with a set quantity of links per month, because that is a pattern that the algorithm can pick up on. Remember, the algorithm is really good at picking up on patterns, guys. So if you're in any sort of a link building program that says, we're going to deliver 12 links per month every month, run away, because that's a pattern that can be picked up on. So, and again, like in my opinion, it's not the quantity, it's the quality. So the way that we do it is we analyze the data monthly. This data gets updated every single month for every single link building client for their primary search query for the project. Seriously, when the subscription bill gets reprocessed, it sends a notification to my team member that generates these reports, and she goes in and updates all this data, because it's dynamic, it's fluid, it changes, right? Top ranked positions change, the competitors that are ranking changes, the quantity of links changes, the anchor text ratio changes. So if anybody gives you a link building plan and says, we've got your a 6-month link building plan right here, and it's 12 links a month, and and in 6 months you're going to rank, run away, because it's bullshit. You have to analyze this stuff on a regular basis to make decisions on what is the appropriate step, the next step, if that makes sense. So again, guys, I try to explain this on sales calls, but we do have a kind of a loose recipe of things that we do on month 1, month 2, month 3 for all clients. But we have to analyze the data on a monthly basis to make make adjustments to that loose plan, right? Course correct. Some months we might need more geographic links. Some months we might need more topical links. Some months it might be branded assets that require some boosting. So we have to look at this on a monthly basis to make informed decisions. So, and hopefully that's clear. I just pointing out, guys, there aren't one, and the way I look at SEOs, there's never a one size fits all. There are fundamental things that we should be doing across the board always, right? But when it comes to search engine optimization, it is a very dynamic environment in that data is constantly changing. The algorithm's constantly changing. So I always recommend analyzing things, developing an analysis process that helps you to come to the decisions that are going to be most effective for each project, if that's clear. And that's precisely what this is for, guys. This is the starting point for every single link building project for all of my own local SEO clients and all of my white label clients. And this data is analyzed on a monthly basis for every single project. No shit. And it's because it's required to do that to make educated, informed decisions on what to do for a project. That's clear. So again, guys, all those resources are available for free on our YouTube channel. Good question. Moving on. Lewis says, I know paying for Google reviews is super risky, but what about paying for reviews on third-party sites? Have you tried? Would it be worth it? Thanks. I've not tried. I've done Facebook reviews in the past, Google business reviews, obviously. But that's basically it. And I don't, I just don't recommend it. You can get into legal trouble now, guys. You can be sued by Google or perhaps the other platforms. You can be brought up on charges both through your attorney, state attorney. So state charges is depending on your state, as well as federal charges. So there, again, seriously, I don't recommend it. So and also I even if I did it myself, I couldn't publicly talk about that anymore. You know what I mean? Which I don't do it anymore. But if I did, I wouldn't talk about it publicly. You know what I mean? Because again, I can't in good faith tell other people that it's okay to do that when I personally don't do it myself anyway, because again, it's too risky. In my opinion, it's just too risky. Okay. I understand, guys, it can help your profiles rank, but there's other ways you can do it, right? There's other ways that you can get it done without it being like, for example, you could have a character review, right? You could not review the services, which would be a fake review, but you could have contacts that do a character review of the business owner and or the business or the business owner. Like, I know the owner and he's a great guy, blah blah blah. No, you're not reviewing the services, but you're doing a character review of the company or their owner or an employee that works there or something. You could do that, right? That's not really a fake review because you're not reviewing the services, you're reviewing the person. So I don't know. I mean, there's some gray areas that you could probably play within, but doing fake reviews for products or services, I just don't recommend it. Does a subdomain get authority from its parent domain? Yes. Do you recommend embedding branded blog pages from a syndication network into the ID page? Not really. No, not really. IFrames are extremely resource intensive for the browser to render. Have you experienced any issues with crawling and performance of ID pages with many items embedded? Yeah, for sure. I've had ID pages that had so many iframes, so many embeds that it's locked up my browser and like literally crashed the fucking computer. I've had that happen multiple times for sure. Where like because it eats up all the cache and all the memory gets clogged up and into the operating system just shuts down. I've had it happen, I swear to God. So no, I don't recommend stuffing it with iframes anymore. We did a lot of that years ago, but there's still key things that I recommend embedding. But a lot of the other stuff now I just link out to from within the iframe, or excuse me, the ID page, and preferably through the G sheet. And again, I talk about this a lot, but if you publish a G sheet, you concatenate all the URLs for the branded and supporting assets, business directory listings, etc. Then those become crawlable links from the ID page. That makes sense. So and that's part of the point is you constantly force the Google bot to come crawl the ID page, and then it spiders out to all those branded and supporting assets. You're informing the knowledge graph. Do you understand that? And again, that's a term that came from Jason Bernard from Calicube with a K, Calicube. He talks about informing the knowledge graph, and that's what I call the process of the Googlebot spidering from the ID page out to all of the brand and the supporting assets and everything, whether that's through an iframe or through direct link. It doesn't matter. iframes do have some benefit, and that's why there are some assets that we recommend iframing, but something like all of your branded blog pages, like the blog archive page for Tumblr, WordPress, and all that kind of stuff, I don't recommend that. It's overkill. You don't need to do it, right? Just reference those blog profiles in your G Sheet, or it can be a hard-coded link in the page or whatever. Okay. You just want Google to come crawl it. Hopefully that's clear. Do you still recommend the excuse me. Do you still recommend the co-citation authority sniping strategy in 2024? I haven't tested with it in a few years. Probably still works. That seems pretty foundational for me, to me. I haven't done any of that. So you're talking about like, what was her name? Lisa Allen with RSS Authority Sniper and in Rank Feeder. Rank Feeder was the service that created spliced super feeds, and you could create sticky items and it's co-citation feeds and things like that. It should still be effective. I would imagine it still works. I haven't done any specific testing with that in probably 2 or maybe even 3 years. Probably 3 years. But my guess is it's still effective. It's probably not nearly as effective as it used to be, but it still produces relevance. And you can do some pretty cool things with the RSS feeds too, that it creates. There's other, Damon Nelson has a product, Rank Feeder, or excuse me, that's Lisa's product. RSS Master Tech, I think he calls it, that can do that. It's a little bit more advanced. That's more of a marketing tool, but you can create co-citation with those types of feeds as well. So yeah, I haven't done any testing with that in a while, but my guess is it still has some effect. There's still some benefit. Okay. Vlad says, do you have a store for the done for you services? We have, well, Vetted. I just talked about Vetted. VETTTED is a store that has SEO services, and I'm on there with link building services. But no, we don't have our own store outside of that. I do have a semantic links dashboard area where you can purchase directly from me. That's, you just go to semanticlinks.io and you can see, you can either schedule a call with me from that sales page, or you can click the login button at the top and create an account for free at the semantic links. And then you can, once you get created your account, you log in, you can see the services available there. That's clear. We do have a semantic SEO, which will be where we sell our directory hybrid agency fulfillment services so that our members can focus on prospect marketing and sales for the first several months of that program. We don't want our agency client, our member program members for the DHA program doing the SEO fulfillment in-house, unless they already have a full in-house fulfillment team. And then I'll give you the SOPs, and then you can do all that shit in-house if you want. But our program members, their goal is to focus on marketing and sales until they get their cash flow needs met. That means don't focus on fulfillment, focus on marketing and sales, get your revenue up. And then once you get your revenue to a acceptable level, then if you want to bring all the SEO fulfillment in-house, that's fine. And that's what we will do with the with semantic SEO is we're going to be providing the done for you services for our program members so that they can focus on generating revenue. So Vlad, that will be available when it's further developed, but we don't want to take on any white label kind of fulfillment services right now, other than what we're developing for the DHA program. Hopefully that's clear. But semantic links can scale. So if you need link building, bring as many clients as you want. We can handle them. Gregory says, this is a long one. Hi, I recently read an article about a change in how Google search is going to work. The article said that Google is introducing something called SGE. Yeah, okay. Okay. Yeah, that's been out for months. The killer is that 95% of these new AI selected search results are not the top 10 links from the regular search results, and that soon it won't be an option. The top 10 search results will be SGE results. Is this true? And if so, well, I don't know. And I don't know that Google knows. They're still testing. Whether that's going to roll out fully or just be kind of like an addition to the existing kind of search as we know it. Even Google, from what I understand, is not fully sure about that. They're still testing. So is this true? I don't think so. Not that I'm aware of, maybe, but I don't work for Google. So since that will wipe out of our SEO rankings to date, how do we optimize for this new AI ranking algorithm, and when will this take place? I don't know. And honestly, I have no idea. And until that happens, I don't really have an answer for that. We're going to continue doing SEO because that's what works as it currently stands. When the shit hits the fan and that goes away, then we will adapt, right? I've been in the SEO business now for almost 15 years, and a lot of changes have occurred in that time. And I've seen a lot of people come and go in the SEO industry because some big major change happens and it kills all their projects, and they just get crushed morally. Their soul is crushed, and they just say, that's it, I've had it, enough of this bullshit, the cat and mouse game. And I've seen people come and go. Over the years, I've learned specifically, you roll with the punches. You figure out when everybody is making all the speculations about this and that, and there's 1,001 blog posts out there on all the major search engine journals and all that shit, where everybody's speculating about this and that. You know how many articles I've read in my almost 15-year careers in SEO that SEO is dead? I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's just, it's all speculation. It's all bullshit. It's all clickbait so they can get ad revenue, because nobody knows. Nobody knows, right? You just wait until whatever happens, and then you figure out how to work in that environment. And that's how we do it as SEOs. Like at least any SEO that is worth their weight or has any experience whatsoever understands that, if that makes sense. So I don't speculate when everybody else is coming out with all this. Like you're asking me, is this true? Do you know? Like I don't know. I'm not going to speculate. It's just if Google makes that change and it's all SGE results and it kills all old traditional SEO, fine. I mean, it's going to suck, yes, but we will adapt. We'll find ways to manipulate that environment. I assume, I hope, but again, I can only speculate that we're going to find a solution for that, right? But again, been in this business long enough to know that you just got to wait until whatever happens, let the dust settle, and then you just start testing, do research, come up with the hypothesis, test it. Once you find something that works, that becomes the control. Then you try to beat the control, right? Direct response marketing techniques. So anyway, don't sweat it too bad. Like as long as there are still regular search results, continue doing that. I do think paid search engine marketing is going to continue to become more and more important, because as we see now currently in the local search environment, that non-paid results keep getting pushed further and further down the page because of Google guaranteed or local service ads or whatever you want to call it at the top, then regular ads, then now ads in the maps pack. Like you get sometimes a lot of local search queries now, it's below the fold before you even get to the first non-paid result. And so I think that's going to become more important. So maybe SEO as we know it will die. Maybe finally after 15 years of reading SEO is dead articles from all these search engine blogs and stuff, then maybe SEO will finally be dead. So who knows? But we'll adapt, right? Anyways, Gregory says, also, you mentioned a few months ago that even though Google had removed the regular access to creating Google business websites, you gave the backdoor away. Yes, but I've heard that Google is now removing. Yes, that's again very public information now. If you have any Google business profiles where you publish a GB website, you've gotten emails from it. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm seeing now my inbox blowing up with Google business messages coming directly from the Google business profile from spammers that are using some sort of bot to go out and spam messages out to all Google business profiles that are accepting messages, pitching, hey, do you know your Google business website is going away? And they're pitching web design services. And it's funny because my inbox is literally this week is blowing up with Google business messages from Google business, emails coming from Google business that say you've received a message. And I go open up the message and it's the same fucking message that somebody pitching web design services, because did you know your Google business website is going away? So yes, they are definitely going away. Do you have more accurate data as when they will be removed? Yeah, it's in the Google business post on March 1. It's like, just go search Google business websites and you'll see, you can click through and there's an article on the Google site, google.com domain, and it says they're turning them off on March 1. They're going to redirect the Google business website URLs to the GBP. So that's the map profile until June 1. And at which time in June 1, they all disappear. And that's going to answer another question I saw later from David. So again, you can go read that directly on Google's help file where they announced it. Okay. Peter says, I noticed that you have QR codes embedded in images, well, overlaid on images in the treecarehq website. What is the purpose of that? Because it's Google bot reads QR codes, and it's a way to inject information into the image for the Google bot, if that makes sense. We used to geotag images and all of that, and you can still do all of that, but I found that it's just easier and more efficient to just create a QR code or a series, like 2 or 3 QR codes, like one that links to the money site, the location landing page or the primary website URL linked to from the Google business website, or excuse me, Google business profile. We also create a QR code that links to the Google map URL, usually the CID URL for that. And then one for, used to be the Google business website, but now I'll probably just create one for the ID page instead. And then that way, what we do is just cycle through, like, let's say there's 15 images on the site and we got 3 QR codes for the 3 target URLs I just described. Then we'll have 5 images with the QR code that points to the location landing page, 5 QR codes that point to the ID page, or 5 images with QR codes that point to the ID page, and then 5 that point to the map, if that makes sense. And I just do that because, again, it's the Google bot crawls that QR code, and then the bot goes and scans that page. And it's just a way to create associations between that image and the data that you want Google to understand about it. Again, that's informing the knowledge graph, guys. Do you understand? There's things that we can do to force the Google bot to create or make associations between the local entity or the brand and these things that we want it to understand about it. That's what, again, that's assisting with discoverability, informing the knowledge graph, expanding the entity footprint, all of the things that kind of, they're closely related, because it's about how can we assist Google with building the knowledge graph for this particular brand or local entity, however you want to call it, whatever you want to call it. So there's things that we can do to help with that, the ID page being one of them. Associating images with specific data, right? And QR codes is a way that we can do that. So hopefully that's clear. It's not really for link building. It's more about creating associations to inform the knowledge graph of data that we want to be associated with the local entity. Hopefully that's clear. Sean says, hey, Bradley, what would be the pros or cons about buying niche relevant age domains, adding some basic content, and then using these as backlinks? As long as there's no cons at all, except for make sure that you are hosting them properly so that you are minimizing or eliminating your footprint. That's key for them to be effective. And then number 2 is, again, make sure that if you're going to buy a domain and to purchase it, to repopulate it with content, check to see what was the previous category. If it's related content, it doesn't have to be the exact same category. It just has to be relevant or related, a tangent topic, so to speak. All of that. And look at the backlink profile. Are the backlinks relevant to what the topic or the content, so the topic of the site was last time it was published online, or whenever it was live, right? Are the backlinks relevant? Not all of them have to be relevant, but does it have some relevance in the backlink profile? And then if you're going to buy the domain, and check Wayback Machine, look at the archive.org, look at the history of it. I don't care if it was spammed 2 times ago that it was online, but the last time that it was online, I want to make sure that it was relevant content or something related to the industry that I'm going to repopulate it with for the, whatever topic I'm going to put on it. It has to be related. Does that make sense? And make sure the backlink profile was related as well, relevant. And as long as it meets those 2 things, right? Or those several items, right? The last time it was published online, it wasn't spammed or something completely irrelevant. The backlink profile is relevant, or at least partially relevant, right? Then if you're going to buy that domain, then fine, buy it. Make sure you're hosting, you're eliminating or reducing footprint as much as possible. And then put what I call topic clustered sites on there, where all of the content, pick a random number. The application that I use to build the sites, we do a random number between 20 and 40. And again, I'll just go to Google, and you just go to Google and do random number generator. And I just set the values from 20 to 30 or 20 to 40, excuse me. And then whatever it says, that's what we build. So 25 posts would go on that next blog. And then all of the content is developed around that particular topic, right? There can be a broad topic, but then all of the content is about that one topic. And why do I do that? Well, because now whenever you publish a post on that site, you're actually achieving relevance matching at 3 levels. The referring page, that's where the contextual link is placed. The referring domain, because if it's a topic clustered site, all of the posts on that site are in the same topical category, thereby all the satisfying page level relevance and domain level relevance at the same time from one post. And then the backlink profile is also relevant. That points to the referring domain that you published the post on. So you're looking at relevance matching at 3 levels: referring page, referring domain, and backlink profile pointing to the referring domain. That's what makes them effective. So there's really no cons in it other than make sure it's clean, relevant, and then make sure you're hiding your footprint. That's clear. And by the way, I teach exactly how to do all of that stuff in the mastermind, guys, for real. I teach all the tools that I use, exactly how I do it. Literally, if that's something you're interested in, Sean, come join the mastermind, and I'm happy to give you that training. So David says, your process for topically mapping out website architecture seems extremely logical and well thought out. Any chance you could build a tool to automate the process given a URL and some business data like services, service area, etc., or perhaps just offer it as a one-shot service that you provide? I would love to, but I'm not a developer, and every time I've ever tried to hire development stuff, I've struggled. And so honestly, I don't have any bandwidth for anything anywhere near that right now, not even managing a development project for a tool like that. So I appreciate the question, but certainly it's not in the immediate term for sure. My biggest goal right now, I got two big goals. One is growing my own agency, which is the testing, my own local SEO agency, which is the testing ground for the DHA stuff for what we're developing, and then the DHA program. So those are my two biggest priorities right now, really the DHA program, but I'm using my own agency as the proving ground for that, if that makes sense. So those are my biggest goals this year, is growing my own agency and thereby growing the DHA program, if that's clear. So stuff like this. Now, look, I give some high level recommendations for topic maps, essentially for websites through my audit process, which I do for link building clients or for people that purchase an audit, which is $149. But and it's very manual. There's no, I don't know how else to do it. So I would love to automate it, but I don't know how to do it, and I don't have the bandwidth to even manage a project to get it done. So it's literally, I have to do it manually, and I do not have the bandwidth to do that for a bunch of people. But that's the point of the audits, is I teach people how to do it in the audit, because I show them, and I'm very, very detailed. Anybody that's ever purchased an audit from me knows that, right? Like, I go to great lengths to make sure that I'm not just telling you do this and you'll get better results. I want to explain. I tell you why. This is why we're doing this, because I want you to learn it so that you don't have to rely on me or wait for some tool to come out to do it. You can do it yourself. And again, it's a very manual process, guys. It is time consuming. But I think it's important, if you're going to be working in an industry as a marketer, not just in SEO, but as a marketer, you should get to understand the industry. And what a better way to understand the industry than to really start to study the language associated, the topics and entities associated with the industry. And look at Wikipedia for clues on how to structure the pages and the site structure of the site that you're going to build in that industry. Because again, if you look at the language, you can start to understand how Google understands the language, the topics associated with that industry, and then look at the internal linking on Wikipedia to see how those topics relate to each other. And that gives you some clues as to how to structure not only individual pages on the site, but the structure of the site in its entirety. Because if you can model kind of the structure, the hierarchy of the topics and subtopics as Google understands them, which you can gain a lot of insight from studying Wikipedia, is what I'm saying. Then it becomes, it's more efficient to optimize that way. And it's almost like it makes it easier for the Googlebot to understand, because it's familiar, because that's how it understands those topics and how those topics and subtopics relate to each other, if that's clear. So that's, again, I totally recommend that you do spend some time doing that. You're right. I understand wanting a tool for that, especially if you're in 15 different industries, because imagine trying to do that process for every industry. It's very difficult, very time consuming, which is precisely why I keep pitching to everybody that will listen, niche down, because then you can go really deep into this kind of level of understanding in one industry, and you will have an edge over 99% of the other marketers in that industry, because you understand this at such a deep level. And that's why I don't have tools for this. I just do it manually for the reasons I just described. Okay. Great question. I appreciate it very much. And I would love to have a tool like that. Hey, there you go. Somebody else out here that listens or watches this at some point that has development chops, there's a tool right there for you. I promise you, if somebody can develop that tool or has a concept for developing a tool and has the has the skills to be able to execute that, reach out to us at Semantic Mastery for real. I'd be happy to entertain a conversation about it. But there would be a market for that tool, I promise you. David says, what do you think is going to happen with all the GBP post URLs, which we painstakingly converted to use google.com and built links to, now that GBP websites are going away? They're going to disappear, David. There's nothing else we can do about it, right? Unless you got a custom domain on your GB website, which then you can, and you built links to that, then you could still retain all that link equity. But if you built links directly to Google Business website URLs and post URLs, which is, I've done that. I wish I had the foresight 5 years ago to say, let's just always use custom domains, because I would have taught that. I've done a ton of link building to my own projects and my own local SEO client projects to Google Business websites and website URLs and post URLs, and that's all going to go away. There's nothing we can do about it. So, welcome to the world of SEO, guys. It happens. All right, got comments, and then we can wrap it up. We still got 15 minutes too, so you guys are not kind of quiet today. I'll be damned. It's all right. Jack Carter says, "Yo, Will Scott, what's up, Will? Long time, buddy." I had a call with Will earlier today. What's up, Cecilia? Lincoln, hey, buddy. David, how you doing, man? Craig, what's up, Craig? Did you tell him Vasco used to give you 20? That's how I met David Morgan. You talking about percentage points? I don't know if that's what you mean, but Vasco never gave me 20. In fact, we did a coupon promotion with Vasco before, and I believe it was 5%. It might have been 10%, but we never got anything for that. I just did it because I wanted to help grow the platform for Vasco. I respect Vasco, and the new owner seems cool too. Like I said, I had a call with him last week, and he's got some good plans for it. And so I think I want to help him continue growing the platform for sure. It's been a good addition to my business, so more exposure for us. Nigel says, "How's it? What's up, buddy?" Jim, what's up, jerks? I love that, Jim. That's your tagline now, apparently. David says, "How many links do you need to rank is the same length of rope?" Yeah, that's right. Cut it twice and it's still too short, David. Damn, I cut it twice and it's still too short. David says, "FYI, I'm not the David in the last two entries. You're welcome, everyone." Will says, "Those audits are a bargain at twice the price." Thank you, Will. I appreciate that. Adapt, improvise, and overcome. Yep. Well, again, SEO, that's the name of the game. Cat and mouse, adapt, improvise, overcome. David, when is that webinar with Jesper? It was on Monday. You missed it. It's on our YouTube channel now, though, David, the replay.
Yep. And if you get the emails, you got the link. If not, just go to semanticmastery.com and hop on.
Yeah. And David Victor says, "I'm the David." What's up, David? I figured that was you because we just had our call yesterday, another call yesterday, and I thought that was you. So, and by the way, I do appreciate your question about that. That's why I kind of knew it was you, because I think you asked me about that yesterday. Yeah, I would love to have a tool like that, but it's not in the cards, not right now. Yeah, David Morgan, again, just go to our channel, man. You should see it. It's probably right there on maybe, well, this might be personalized for me, but anyways, we just published it yesterday. It's already got 326 views, so go check it out. It's a really cool tool. I spent an hour in that tool this morning, developing some more schemas because we just had the webinar on Monday, and I was like, damn, there's stuff in there I didn't even know was there. So I spent an hour in there this morning and generated some schema for one of my lead gen projects. So it's cool. It does still require, just to be 100% transparent, guys, the auto-generated entities and everything that it pulls in, you have to manually go through there and edit those, clean that shit out. That's why I spent an hour. I just generated one set of schema for one location today, but I spent a whole hour doing it, and it was for a tree service project. And I did still spend a whole hour. So just because it's a tool that makes it significantly easier to develop really thorough schema, it doesn't mean that it's significantly faster. I mean, it would be if you don't get me wrong. I'm not bad mouthing the tool. I'm just saying you have to go through it and be intentional and manually edit things out, and maybe manually add things in that the automation didn't pull in automatically, because it's going to pull in a lot of stuff that's not really fully relevant. And that's, so at least now, I'm sure as Jesper trains that model more and more, it'll get better. But in the meantime, it does require, I found just for the tree service stuff, that it does require a bit of manual review and editing to get it where I want it anyway. But I think it's worth it because it's very, very thorough schema that it generates very quickly. So, okay, guys, that's it. Let's wrap it up. I think we're done. Thanks, everybody.